the research shows that corrective feedback actually improves language production. And they are having this feedback now, so their accuracy is getting better. They have the opportunity to more constantly have feedback they deserved, that I was not able to give the way they deserve.
Not because you didn't want to. You just didn't have the bandwidth to.
Yes, because I don't have 8 hours a day correcting everything they do. Even if they do a writing piece, they write and they dictate to SchoolAI with the microphone, and then SchoolAI correct and they correct their papers. And it's very personal to them, but that's the thing. How is that helping if the SchoolAI is being the teacher, let's say? The thing with SchoolAI that I love is that I can see what they are doing.
Thank you, Priscilla, for joining us. Priscilla, give us a little bit of background about you and how you've been involved with SchoolAI.
I did first grade teaching for first 5 years, and then I moved to junior high. So I'm teaching my 5th year in junior high, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade Portuguese Immersion. And my students are learning the language for 7, 8, 9 years. So they are in the more advanced levels of the language because they have a lot of vocabulary for being learning since first grade. Now I have my job and my goal is to refine their language to reach the more advanced levels of proficiency, which means to be advanced, they need to know how to conjugate verbs correctly. They need to do the grammar very well. And that's what I'm trying to help them shape. I'm in love with SchoolAI, and I cannot say, how it shifts our learning. I am finishing my master's in second language acquisition and teaching. So I know what are the things that research-based show what is good for your language to grow. One of the things is producing language. We call output. So you need to write the language. You need to put your thoughts. You need to speak. Because of that, they are really proficient in the language. They can talk about any subject you want. But there's something that is missing and lacking. It's called accuracy, which means they can produce language very well, but they have grammar mistakes and verb conjugation mistakes. And the thing is, they are growing since first grade doing the same mistakes and they are not aware of. So how do we fix that? We do what they call feedback and corrective feedback. But think, I have 130 students. I have to grab their writing samples and correct it. If I need to correct a piece of one paragraph they produce, I spend 8 hours. You need to do paper and pen and correct every piece of the grammar and things that needs to be fixed and it is wrong. The verb conjugation, it took hours. But they deserve this feedback because they are producing language. They need to know what they're doing right and wrong. So we focus a lot on the content, what they can talk about it, but we cannot help as much in accuracy. In my class, we have a practice called escrita cronometrada. How is it in English? It would be timed writing. So every day they have a prompt. They need to write 10 minutes about that theme. It's to review stuff. It's to help them produce language. And before it was just a practice of writing they do every day to produce language. But now with SchoolAI, they can have feedback every class. So they spend 10 minutes writing and then they copy and paste to SchoolAI, and I have a prompt to correct their grammar and give feedback
right away, so that they're not. Yeah.
And then we start doing it, and I start noticing how they got engaged with that because they want to know what they are doing wrong and they want to be correct. But when they are producing language, like when you are speaking one another, I cannot stop what they are saying correct or what they are saying all the time because that will block them. They will stop wanting to produce. If I just correcting what they are speaking, everyone will listen, and it's hard. But with the writing, they can see their feedback. They start noticing patterns they are not aware. It's not they don't know how to use grammar. They are just not used to. It's part of learning to make mistakes in grammar when you are learning a language. But now they are feeling empowered because they feel like, I know that pattern, I just forgot to use, or, I never noticed I was doing that. And that was, for me, is brilliant. They noticing patterns in their own writing because it's an everyday practice and they are super engaged. So when you students notice that something actually helps and there is a why behind, they are engaged. And then they get the help they need. It's been weeks now that we are doing this every day, every class. So they notice their mistakes are decreasing every session. So like, hey teacher, I just have 3 words corrected this time. And I was, wait a minute. Because this is research-based. The thing with SchoolAI that I love is that I can see what they are doing. And that shifts everything. And they know that I am seeing. Because when they are using SchoolAI, I'm also on my computer, see what they are doing. And sometimes I stop, hey, you, come here. So do you see that thing here? that happens because of that. We can have these conversations. Hey guys, you see that thing SchoolAI correct? It's correcting an expression. So maybe the right thing was not be that, but it's correcting the expression as the English will say. So let's talk about culture here and see some things like that. That conversations are putting us in the same level. Like everyone knows there's something to be corrected. Doesn't matter how much you are having. You are having 10 words, I having 5. Doesn't matter. We all have this part. Everyone has something to improve.
SchoolAI is filling in the gaps.
It is filling it. That's exactly. It's filling the gap. So today I have a former student coming to me. She is now in college, and her mom was telling me that she struggles in college because she noticed that her grammar was not good. And that, Mom, I never noticed my grammar was broken because I was speaking so much. Though, yes, they have the fluency. They can speak a lot, but they don't have the accuracy yet. And I was telling this mom, that's a problem in the future we will not have. If you use the feedback the way you should, it does not take the whole class. As I told you, it's a 5 minutes thing. It's a 10 minutes thing. It's the end of a unit thing, just to correct and give them what they need. But I'm still seeing what they are doing. I am noticing the patterns, and I am knowing my students pretty well. But I don't need to read their papers for 8 hours. I just seeing what SchoolAI is giving me.
Yeah.
And we can stop and talk right away.
Have you noticed a difference in this year's class versus previous years without the school support of AI?
That's the thing. That engagement, that every time they are writing, the mistakes are decreasing. That shows a lot. But also, my students, what I notice, it's that lately they are more aware when they are writing. They are being more intentional. They want to do correct. Now they know they will be corrected. They will have a feedback. They want to do right the first time. And I think before it was just a writing practicing. Just time it. Just whatever, no one will gonna read this anyways. But now this
the
time,
teacher has too many things to go through.
Exactly.
She's not going to notice.
So now they are trying to do better, and they are bringing this feedback that, hey, Professora, I just have 3 or 2 words. I just have this thing that I make it wrong, or that conjugation is still a problem for me. And that's the power of feedback. Noticing your own gaps. So they are being responsible for their own learning in a way.
Yeah, the responsibility. They're taking the responsibility.
They're taking responsibility. They are doing for themselves, not for the teacher.
We were talking about it earlier, but just how even that immediate feedback right then versus waiting. I remember growing up, like you'd get a test a week later and it was like, oh, I don't even remember this. Like that feedback isn't going to be as meaningful. And so to have something.
And to be honest, because I know it takes so long for me to correct, even for me, it was not engaging enough because I know some students will not even read. And all they will read, but will not make any sense anymore because it takes hours. And when I say that it takes 8 hours, it's every day, 2 hours after school for me to correct their writing. Because I'm still doing all the other things that are important for language learning. There is preparing them the opportunities to use the language, to communicate with one another. But that little piece of feedback that is actually huge, and now I can implement more constantly with them. For example, today, it's not just in writing, it's in speaking as well. Because SchoolAI transcript what you say, they press the microphone button and then we put a timer because they need to talk for a minute, no stop, because then they need to produce more and more. And I ask SchoolAI to give a good feedback, not just telling what the mistakes were, like tell them what was good and give one tip to improve. And they like, oh, I did that right. I did that good. Even like compliment and show them what is doing good.
Yeah.
And they are, oh, nice. So that's thing okay, next time now. Did you read the feedback, everyone? Okay, next minute, go. And they are using the feedback in the new language they are producing now.
Getting that immediate feedback.
And we did that 3 times today. And when I say, okay, guys, our time for this activity is over, because it was a 10 minutes thing, they are,
They were enjoying it. That's what you want to hear at the end of a lesson.
Engagement is the key. And then we had this conversation. So how do you feel this has been good or not? And they said, just talking with Sidekick today, I learned 3 new words. When I was reading the feedback, there are 3 new words that I didn't notice before or not using. And then I used the next time. So now it's part of my vocabulary. And that was a student who was not super proficiency. Is not a higher in my class. So when this guy who wants to learn come to you, then you see the power or something.
If there was teachers looking at SchoolAI and they saw this, what would you tell them if they were considering or looking for something?
The first thing you are using some technology that make you afraid, I would say accept the mess of the first time you are using it, because you probably will learn from it for your mistakes. The first time I tried to implement a prompt I didn't know well how to do, but I just keep going, and now I know how to use it in my favor. But also, many people are seeing AI as a villain because we don't need teachers anymore. No, that's not the thing. Technology is here. Artificial intelligence is here to stay. We need to learn how to use it in our favor, because this now is a part of our lives. And it's part of the student's life as well. And it is not a villain. It's your partner teacher. It's your student teacher is the one who are doing the things you don't have time to do very well. But as I said, it's not SchoolAI doing for you because you see as well. It's not just something for the student, it's for the teacher as well. It's giving feedback for the students, but it's giving for the teacher as well. I see the patterns that my students are doing, make the mistakes they are doing, the good things they are doing, and I can implement in my next instruction, because it's a two-way feedback. It's not a villain. It's here to help you. It's here to make your work better. It's here to help them to be more engage with their own learning.
How has using SchoolAI changed your relationship with your students? Has it created more time for meaningful connections?
Yes, because when they are showing me what they are doing, I'm seeing in real life and we are talking about it. So that's the connection, because I feel that we are doing something together that is good for everyone.
And they feel that.
Yeah, so they are doing in their computers and looking at me. Did you see that? Because I see their computers here. Hey, teacher, do you see that? What do you think about that? Hey, he corrected that. Do you think this is right? So we are together, like we are doing this together. So that's the connection. They feel like, I know what you mean now with the grammar that you said so much about it. I know what you mean now.